Hey there, everybody. So, this is Ollie, and I just wanted to give you a quick message before the show starts. I sound really bad in this episode, and part of that is because we were gone for a year and I forgot how to do anything. But mostly, I had the soundboard screwed up on my microphone and didn't realize it, and I'm real sorry, but that will not happen again, and learn all that, stuff. Either way, I hope you enjoy the show, even though I sound like Dookie. Bright side, Jess sounds lovely. Bye, and enjoy the show.
Hello, and welcome back to Judging Nerd Culture. I'm Jess.
And I'm Ollie.
And we're going to be talking about A Quiet Place 2 today. But first, maybe we should do a little update on our lives and where Judging Nerd Culture stands.
Yeah, it's been, I think, a fucking year.
It's been a very long time. We just ghosted.
Yeah, I mean, shit happens. But we are very happy to be back. And to those 50 of you, come back. You.
Yes, thank you. We have some cool stuff coming. Some really fun ideas that include alcohol and fan fiction and possibly ASMR. Okay, so I think it'd be fun to do some ASMR. Ollie wouldn't be able to hear anything.
No, I have notoriously awful hearing. I'm like an old man. But I'm not against it if anyone wants it. Just let us know. One way or another, I think Jess wants it, so I guess we'll do at least something with it.
Well, before we get too far off subject, I will say ASMR is a fascinatingly weird genre of podcast and video media, whatever. But it is fun to do. Mm-hmm. Not particularly my cup of tea. I don't seek that out to listen to. But whispering into a microphone is kind of fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I've been assured by the internet multiple times that it is not always porn.
Oh, God. You remember when I...
You didn't have to finish the sentence. Yes, I remember.
Well, now I have to give context.
Yes, please.
So, ASMR, when it got really, really big, it was like 10 o'clock at night. I was so tired, but I was like, oh, this weird thought came into my brain. Do they have ASMR porn? Because, I mean, they have porn for everything. And for some reason, it didn't occur to me that, of course they would have this. Because auditory things are very arousing to certain people. But for some reason, on that night, I just wanted to know. I wanted to seek it out, I guess. And I did, and I regretted every single second of it. Because it was the wettest, grossest thing I have ever heard. And don't get me wrong. I know there's people out there who really like it, and I can see the appeal. But just having someone do licking noises in my ear and slurping is like I'm at an Italian restaurant and everybody is slurping their pasta, and I cannot.
See, I would like to take a brief moment to remind everybody from my perspective what happened that night. It was the middle of the night. I'm getting ready for bed. I wake up at 4 a.m. most days to do whatever the hell I do with my life.
You were sitting on the couch in the living room.
No, I'm pretty sure we were going to bed.
No, we lived at the apartment at the time, and I was in the bedroom, laying across the bed, getting ready for bed. But really, I was looking at my phone, and you were in the living room. I don't know what you were doing, but you were not getting ready for bed. You were in the bathroom taking your hour poop. You weren't.
Wow.
You weren't in the
slander.
You weren't. I came out to you and I said, "Oh my God, Ollie, you have to come listen to this. This is the real thing."
All I remember, and I'm not saying you're wrong, and I'm not saying I'm wrong. All I remember was minding my own damn business, and then you coming over to me and putting in my face a phone with Pornhub on the screen, and somehow it got worse.
Anyway, we got way off subject. So we used to live at the apartment. We no longer do. So apart from COVID, there was also a lot of things that happened in our lives that made us take a hiatus from the podcast.
Yeah, there were some new jobs to be had. We had moved on to a different locale, and we actually have moved since then as well again.
Yes, we have moved twice since the last time you hung out with us, and we've both gotten new jobs, which was really stressful, but here we are. And we've gotten married.
Yeah, we are now a couple of wed.
We're wedded. We are betrothed. Betrothed.
Betrothed. And I'll let you know, everyone, it is the same.
Yeah. Everybody keeps asking me that. Like, a week later, my cousin, she was like, "Oh, how do you feel?" Exactly the same.
Yeah,
I feel the same, except for now, sometimes I forget that I hyphenated my last name. So...
Yeah, seeing that on Facebook still gets me like, oh god. Oh
yeah.
Wow, that's a thing now.
Yep. Yep.
But other than those brief moments, no, it's the same. I love you just as much, and we still get along as well as a not married couple, because apparently once you get married, you hate each other.
I guess, and I've noticed that with some of my friends, which is uncomfortable. But the only thing that's changed for me is, the stereotypical, oh, when you guys having kids, and I'm not going to be here forever, you better have a kid so I can see it before I die. And it's like, okay, well, cool. Guilt trip into having a kid is not going to happen right now. Thanks, though.
Yeah, you better get your health up, because we're not having it anytime soon.
Yeah, I'm trying to get my health up. I'm trying to experience my life without having to stress about things and... Why? Okay. Oh, God. Okay, so Ollie filled my water bottle up, but apparently did not screw on the top. So I just went to grab my water bottle and had freezing cold water spilled all over my lap. How dare you?
Wow.
Now I am going to get a divorce. I do hate you now. So yes, we've moved twice. We've gotten married, new jobs. Obviously COVID, which these fellas are vaccinated.
Double vaxxed all the way across the sky.
Oh, well, we are vaccinated. Didn't make me sick at all. I got a little foggy-headed, but, the chip is a little annoying once in a while. I can feel that little, I can feel a little bump there, but, it crunches sometimes and feel it moving around.
Mine got stuck to a magnet the other day. I couldn't move.
Yeah, I got stuck right to the fridge. It took me 20 minutes. I was almost late for work.
God, people are...
Interesting.
Right.
Everybody is unique.
Sure.
Yeah. Anything else you want to update about? Maybe some Terra?
Maybe... Yeah. So, I uploaded a basically workable rough draft of Terra up to itch.io. If you go in and search Terra Mahia, Terramagia. Wow, spelling without seeing a letter or words are weird.
So that is Terra Mahia, Terra, Terra, Magia, Mahia.
I did really well in my elementary school with spelling bee.
Pixar didn't happen.
Fair enough. Point is, it's on itch, and you can download it for free and leave a little donation if you'd like to support us and what we're doing, either through here or through Terra or whatever else. It's available. You can play it.
Yeah.
And it's not completely done. It'll get updated every month or so, preferably every few weeks, but hey, I'm busy.
It's pretty awesome. You've got artists from all over the world working on it.
I got someone from India and some people from around the United States, and every single person who has contributed art, one I paid for, so if anyone wants to paying gig, let me know. But they're all also either a person of color or a member of the LGBT community, or both. And that's a big part of what I want to do, is just include a little bit of all of them, because
That is us.
that'd be us. But yeah, I'm really excited. One singular beautiful soul did pay for the game, and even though it's just one person, it did make me quiver a little. So thank you, internet stranger, for buying my game.
Yes, that was pretty awesome.
But other than that, I don't got too much to say right now. I have some other projects coming up in the future, and I'll talk about more then. I will be starting another podcast with some people. It's going to be an actual play inside of the Terra universe, and which I'm going to be running and controlling that whole thing. And there's going to be another game that I'm going to be participating in, just as a player / actor or whatever, which is going to be a streamed actual play of the Animorphs. I'll get more information to that to whoever wants it.
Yeah, let's not talk about Animorphs right now, because then this episode will...
It'll be an Animorphs episode.
Yeah, it'll be an Animorphs episode. Anyway, did you know any kids in high school or middle school or wherever who read Animorphs?
Other than Soap? No.
I don't think I ever knew anybody who read them, but I remember seeing them in the library and at like those school book fairs, and they always piqued my interest because I always wanted to know what weird combo of human and whatever was going to be on the cover, and I always wanted to know what the middle transition was. You know, like they would always have the human, and then it'd be like a weird fade until like the animal, and you'd get to see a weird transition in the photo. And I always wanted to see that middle transition to see how weird and messed up it was. But
and I'm not trying to call myself out for ignorance or age, but I'm pretty sure that those covers are made before Photoshop. So how the fuck did they do that? Because don't get me wrong, they're ugly as sin, but like
who knows?
Weird. But no, I remember they definitely had an appeal to them, and even though I cannot confirm who in the people that I knew had read them other than Tobe, I know that there were plenty of people who were in our group of friends back in the day who were that kind of person.
Yeah, I was more into the diaries, the historical diaries of different girls. Oh God, I don't remember what they were called. I think they were actually called like diaries or like American diaries or something. They weren't all American though, so maybe not. I don't know. They always had a silky bookmark that went with them. Somebody who is listening right now knows what I'm talking about, I swear. Or like, you know, Percy Jackson, Mortal Instruments type of thing.
I didn't read books as a young youth, and I still don't. So, let's talk about some movies.
Yeah. So we watched A Quiet Place 2.
A Quiet Place 2 takes off right after the ending of the first. Almost immediately after the death of the father in that family, the mother picks up her two almost barely teenage children and her literally 1 day old newborn, puts them in a box, and takes off down the road. They're in search of another safe place to stay. Their once peaceful apocalyptic paradise farm unfortunately did not survive the encounter in the first movie, and they have to find another place to set up and survive. Everything is working out surprisingly well until they encounter some man-made hindrances.
Yeah.
And after a few brief moments of, oh no, we're gonna die, they get saved by an old friend from the before times. Once you meet this individual, you realize who he is, because at the beginning of the movie, there was a brief sojourn into the past, where you saw a little flashback of the first days of this, alien invasion, essentially. And it's in this preview where you see this character for the first time, and they show you that they have some sort of relationship, that is no longer quite established in this post-apocalyptic version of them, as he is no longer willing to really support them, but allows them to stay for a little bit because he's not a heartless person.
He's just terrified.
He's just fucking scared. But as they're staying the night, the daughter of the family, she and her brother encounter a radio signal, and the daughter picks up on a message hidden inside of the signal, and the broadcast location being from an island, and the song being somewhere over the sea, right? Implying that there is possibly civilization, hope, something, over across the pond on this little island. So she sets out by herself on a little journey to try and save the human race by using the techniques she learned from the first movie, in which her earpiece can cause a sonic frequency that terrifies and injures the alien species. She is all on her own in this little quest, but with a little bit of coercion from the mother. Our new reluctant hero father figure goes and chases after her. And to avoid any, major spoilers, it's still in theaters and all, they do encounter a variety of hiccups and roadblocks along the way before finally making their way to the island and maybe saving the human race.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's a very good synopsis. However, if we're going to be reviewing the whole movie, I think it's okay if we spoil some.
Oh yeah,
we'll just give a little warning. Little warning right now. There will be even more spoilers if you haven't been a little spoiled already. So back away now, or forever be spoiled.
Yes, I just figured the summary wasn't too spoilery, and going forward, they know what's coming. They can decide whether they want to back out or not.
Okay.
So.
Yes.
I have some feelings about this movie.
Yes.
And pretty much all those feelings are, it was fucking wonderful.
I was stressed out the entire movie.
Literally every second of that movie, I felt like something was going to jump out from the side of the screen and just create a loud racket and hurt and kill everyone every second of the movie.
Yes. So in the very beginning of the movie, it's, it already starts stressful. Like, it could be, if you obviously watched the first movie, you know that, like, oh crap, all of them are, like, vulnerable. There's sure, the mom could survive, maybe if she was by herself, or, like, if it was just her and one or two of her kids. But she has an infant in her arms, in a box that she has to carry, and, like, it's already, everything's on fire. And then, eventually, they get closer to that factory where they find Emmett, the old friend, and they almost die again.
Yeah, they go from tense situation to tense situation. There's never really a lull. It's sort of intensity, plateau, and then intensity.
Mm-hmm.
But it just never feels safe.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the fact that it never feels safe really fits the style of the world they're in. Because, yeah, any sound causes these monsters that you can't even see half the time. They're in the middle, they're nowhere.
Yeah.
And they just fucking appear. And I think the way they made the tone of the movie, the ambiance of it, be so tense, really made you feel like you were just kind of there, over their shoulder, just kind of present.
Yeah. I feel like The Quiet Place and John Krasinski did something that not a lot of movies have done, with playing with the ears and the auditory magic that they have conceived. Everything is so quiet, and going into it, you might think, oh man, it's a quiet movie. Like, it's a silent movie. Those are kind of boring. There's not much going on, but there's so much physical action, like emotion, I guess I mean. And everything they do because of the context of the movie where they can't make sound, is like you're always on the edge of your seat. Like you are always like, what's going to happen? Oh, like Reagan, I think is the daughter's name. She's deaf, so she can't hear what she's doing or hear if there's someone or something nearby. And so when she goes off on her quest, it's like, okay, cool, she's going to try to help. But at the same time, what if she accidentally makes a noise and she doesn't realize it? Or if there's, God forbid, other humans nearby, she's not going to hear them.
No, I agree that the deliberate nature of the sound is obviously one of its high points. And there was something. There was a big difference between number 1, number 2, and number 2 for me. Where number 1, there was so much silence the entire movie that the moments where there were noise were genuinely startling. In this one, there was a lot more instances of noise and of chaotic, like things chasing and running and hitting into things and just chaos and whatnot. And I think it really is interesting because in the first one, everything is so calm because the whole family's together. Everyone is at least somewhat secure. They have a routine, they have a pattern. And then in this one, everyone's splitting up. The daughter is running away to try and do something noble, but still she's running away. The mother's barely able to take care of her children because, God forbid, a baby tries to breathe and cry in this world. And the fact that this one has so many more instances of that chaotic noise when monsters attack or when whatever is happening, I think is an interesting difference between the two movies and how you hear them and also how the characters are interacting with the world itself.
Mm-hmm.
Also, just a quick note. Because everything's so fucking quiet, whenever there is noise, it made my butthole pucker. Like, I was just that. Ready. Never ready. Never.
Well, that's the thing. There was, even though everything was silent, there was always a little bit of noise. Like water dripping or birds or the slight crunch or like sifting of the sand as they stepped on it. I don't know, it was just, like I said, auditory magic. Like, I don't know what they did, but they did it right. they did a very good job.
They did a phenomenal job.
And I want to also comment on the acting. Obviously, there wasn't too much John Krasinski in the movie, but I do love him. He's a great actor and very attractive fella. And Emily Blunt is a really good actress, but what got me the most was the kids. Like, I've seen Cillian Murphy in other things like Peaky Blinders and 28 Days Later, I believe.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah, yes, he's that guy. He plays Emmett, and he's also a fantastic actor. But Noah Jupe and Millicent Simmons, Simmons, play the two children, and the acting is so good. That little boy, that 13-year-old boy, made me cry so many times. Holy cow. He's a very gifted young man.
No, I think they did a great job. And I think it's really helpful for their acting careers going forward that they did a movie series that is so physical in their acting, because their face and their mannerisms, everything about the way they acted these movies were so visceral. It's just so... it's such a gut punch.
Mm-hmm.
That scene where him and his mom is about to leave to go get some more supplies, because if they don't, they're gonna die.
Yes.
Eventually.
And she has no choice but to leave him.
No, she has to. And she's leaving him there with the baby because the daughter already left, and Emmett left after her to save her. And now she's there with the kids by herself, and she knows she has to go save these kids, against things to save the kids. And she leaves, somewhat silently, and the boy chases after her. And they have this quiet, argument with no words. It's just
sign language.
Yeah, the really emotional sign language of, please don't go. I can't take care of this baby. I don't know what the hell's going on. I'm 9 fucking years old, 10, 12, 13. I don't know how old this kid is.
Just kept going up 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15, 25, 30. How old is he?
I realized 9 was probably too young. But yeah, it's so good. He starts to beg for her to stay and help him because he's scared, because he's hurt. He has a really bad injury, and he doesn't know how to take care of a baby, and he's scared. There's monsters literally everywhere, and oh gosh, that was a beautiful scene.
Mm-hmm. And about him and his character, when you watch a movie, any movie, but specifically a horror movie or action movie, and a character does something, and you're the audience, you're sitting on the couch, you're sitting in the theater, and you're thinking, oh God, don't do that, don't go there, you can see what's going to happen because you know everything that's happening in the movie. But in this movie, this kid, there are moments where you're like, oh, why are you doing that? But it makes sense because he is a 13-year-old boy. He's doing things a 13-year-old boy would realistically do in this situation, which I think is really cool that they didn't make him some sort of, 13-year-old mature hero man boy, they didn't try to make him seem like something he's not.
They also didn't make him, annoyingly angsty.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was upset about things, but, he had a bear trap on his leg. His mom is gone. Everything that he was feeling made sense. Mm-hmm. And the only time he did anything that was like, oh boy, this isn't going to end well, he was trying to see if he could see his mom because he was worried.
Yeah, he leaves the baby in the, basically the little bunker that they are staying in. He goes upstairs in this factory with these binoculars, limping, trying to be quiet. And the whole time you're like, oh God, he's going to make such a noise, such a catastrophe of everything. But at the same time, you're like, no, if that were me, I definitely would be scared. He doesn't know what time it is or how long she's been gone. So he wants to know if he can see her out the window. So he takes the binoculars up there to see.
He also doesn't know if she's ever going to come back.
Yeah, she could have died.
Horrified.
And he doesn't know if she's coming back. He doesn't know if this family friend he hardly knows is coming back with his sister. His dad's already dead. So in all honesty, it could just be him and the baby. And then he'll have to figure out how to survive with his ankle and his little sister or brother who's running out of air.
Before we started this, you mentioned that on IMDb apparently has a 70.
7.9 out of 10.
Who has a negative thing to say about this movie?
Well, see, there could be people rating it who don't like horror movies.
I don't like horror movies.
I know, and it's honestly, it's not. It's tense, and I don't know. I guess it's considered a horror movie, but it's like a thriller.
See, the thing that gets me is that it's a little bit of a horror movie. It's a little bit of a thriller, but it's really just a movie about a family, and it does that so well that I don't care that there's horrifying monsters and terrifying jump scares, and that's okay with me. Everything else is done so well that I don't care if it's a horror movie. I'm into it. It's not like the Conjuring that we watched the other night.
We're not even going to do an episode of that. I really like The Conjuring 1, the very first one that came out. But, guys, Oh, hello, Mabel.
She just... Our cat just jumped on Jess's back. My God. Mabel, no. Oh, gosh.
So she might rub against the microphone, so if there's some noise. Yeah, just real quick. Conjuring 3, or not, I don't even know if it's number 3.
The devil made me do it.
The God. Is it God made me do it, or is it
the devil made me do it.
Devil made me do it. I don't know. Hey. The real life case, he says God made him do it, I'm pretty sure.
Oh,
Maybe not.
I
don't know.
That seems a little weird given the concept.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't know. Point is, not good. Like, it's a horror movie. Jump scares, spooky, creepy demons, witchcraft, yada yada. But I was excited going into it because I like the Conjuring movies. But then they were like, hey, Satanists are murdering people and doing sacrifices and curses. And I'm like, okay, well, Ed and Lorraine, you're supposed to be professionals and you don't know what a Satanist is? Okay.
Also, here's the thing with the Conjuring movie that we just watched versus The Quiet Place. I don't like scary movies because jump scares spook the hell out of me. So, like, there were a couple of bits in The Conjuring that really got me.
Mm-hmm. But
for the most part, I didn't care. Like, it wasn't scary because I didn't care. Because none of the characters mattered at all. Like, they just didn't matter.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, because, like, the leads, not the spiritual investigating leads, but, like, the teen guy, or the 20-something guy and his girlfriend, they were good enough characters and good actors. They did a good job. But something about all of it was really just not investing, which is literally the opposite of this movie, where there's some jump scares, but really it's just, you're just afraid something bad's going to happen to these nice characters that you want to live. That's it. And that little difference makes, the little change makes all the difference. Ugh.
So, I was looking up some of the reviews of The Quiet Place 2, and it took me a minute to find the ones that are below 8 stars, which, I mean, they should all be 10, but, you know, whatever. That's my opinion. And so it seems like some people are just upset because they didn't feel like there was closure in the end of it, or that some of the things that happen in the movie are illogical, like stupid and dumb. Like this comment from Blake Shabalk 76-8, I don't know, something. It says, he says, this action is so absolutely idiotic, I can't even imagine a child would engage in it. So he's saying it was really dumb of the kid to go up to the top of the factory and look for his mom. And that no child would ever do that. I guess he hasn't met many 13-year-olds.
I think he just skipped being a child altogether. What is he?
And he's thinking, he's just thinking the mom's dumb for not telling the kid more rules when she was leaving him. I don't know. So the people who downrated it for the most part are calling it dumb when in fact
they're dumb.
They're dumb. They're dumb. They have not met, 13-year-olds, and they've never been through a apocalypse. I mean, none of us have, but I know plenty of 13-year-olds and children, and I was also one, and I know for a fact that, yeah, sure, some of them would be too terrified to go up to the top, or some of them probably would have begged and begged and begged to at least go with the mother, but myself and a few of the children I know of would definitely have been like, no, I need to know if my mom is out there. Is she coming back?
Of course, and, well, one, excuse you, I have lived through at least 3 apocalypses. Y2K, 2012, that weird asteroid that came nearby was apparently supposed to kill everyone, I don't know.
Yeah. The end of the Mayan calendar, right?
Yeah,
that was 2012.
Yeah. Point is, I've lived through enough of them, and that's not really the point. The point is, it seems like people who are judging this movie harshly, don't quite get the mindset of the characters.
Yes.
They don't understand the position they're in. Which I get it. Like it is hard to like set yourself really in that mindset.
Because I mean, like I said, we've never been through something like that.
No.
And honestly, for some people, it just really is more difficult to put yourself in other people's shoes.
Yeah, I mean, there are plenty of people who have a sort of difficulty with empathy and whatnot, and I get that. But like that aside, you could still there's still this level of characterization that was established through the movie itself of the characters and what they want and need. The daughter, she wants control and agency because she has a limited amount of that due to the fact that she's deaf, and because of that, her family controls her a little more than usual because she needs a little bit of support, and she can't hear the monsters coming. She can't hear this or that, and it puts her at a disadvantage in this particular setting.
Mm-hmm.
So she wants control over herself and agency and to help. The boy, he was shown throughout the movie just wanting to be safe, be protected, be with his mom. The baby is a baby. It wants to breathe and cry. And they all stuck rigidly to those characterizations in a way that I think is fair and true. Like they had a mindset and they stuck to it because why wouldn't they? Every choice made in this movie, directorially and writing-wise in terms of character action and everything, fits so well. It makes an incredible amount of sense within the world and within sort of the emotional intelligence of the character. And I'm here for it. I'm a fan.
It was a good movie, and I am hoping there's a number 3, which, when we came out of the theater, some father and his daughter were like, oh, there's going to be number 3, but no John Krasinski, which is like, on one hand, it's like, oh, cool, it'll be another movie in that world, in that universe. But on the other hand, it's like, if it's not being made by the original creator, and hopefully he has some sort of oversight, because otherwise it's not gonna be the same.
It might also just be another person's story within that same world.
Yeah.
And since it's not the story that John Krasinski is telling, someone else is taking over, but it's still in the same universe. Also, that guy did say that John Krasinski didn't have much of a control over the first movie, which I'm pretty sure is incorrect.
Yeah, because he wrote the movie.
So
he, produced the movie. I'm sure he at least directed a little bit.
So I'm pretty sure that person we talked to just doesn't know what they're saying and is talking out their ass. So
It's possible. Yeah, John Krasinski directed number 2. I'm looking right now to make sure that, yes, he did also direct number 1. It says story by Brian Woods and Scott Beck, produced by Michael Bay, Andrew Form, and Brad Fuller, but directed by John Krasinski for number 1. And I'm assuming number 2 is similar, directed by John Krasinski, and then it just says production companies, Platinum Dunes Sunday Night Productions. It was a quick look. I didn't go too much in depth with it, so there's probably more details, but, so yeah, he did direct both movies.
So yeah, strange white man, shut the fuck up.
Man, white men thinking they know everything.
Yeah. Not talking about you, Bryce. You're wonderful.
That's the second time we've called him out on this pod.
I love him dearly, and I want him to know I'm thinking of him. But anyways, is there anything else you'd like to talk about in this particular movie? Any individual scenes that you really enjoyed, really disliked? Anything that was a little... Yeah.
I liked the ending quite a bit. I know some people in the comments, the snooty ones with no closure, didn't like it. But...
We should talk about that.
But, I liked it. I liked the fact there was basically a civilization on this little, Manhattan, New Jersey island or whatever it was. And I really liked Emmett's development from being scared of living, of trying to survive in this world, to someone who is trying to help and trying to make a difference. Mabel is crazy. Because when you first meet him, he's scared. He doesn't even want to show his face to them because he knows them. And he's like, okay, well, if they know it's me, they're going to be like, well, why haven't you helped us sooner?
And they essentially do say those exact same things.
They do. But, I
so
mean,
he was right.
His wife gets sick and dies because, she, after a while, the pain is too much, and she makes too much noise, and is gobbled up, presumably.
Presumably?
Wow.
Presumably.
And his son is also taken from him at only, like 7. He was not very old. So he's, staying in this broken down factory he used to work in, this mill, and he's terrified to even try, because he thinks, the other humans that have survived are monsters themselves. But at the end, he's like, okay, well, this girl, she has showed me that she is so brave, and she is fighting so hard to survive and to help other people survive. That's what I can do. Like, he's finding hope in this girl and in humans again. And he's letting go his grief of his wife and his son. He's becoming more of a hero, and I really like that. His character is really cool. I like him a lot.
Yeah, I think it was interesting because, like, him and the mother, they have honestly almost identical tragedies go on for them. He loses his wife and his kid and his child, and she loses her husband and one of her children early on in the first movie. And they react very differently, obviously. And don't get me wrong, they both grieved. They both went through some shit.
Yeah. She had other people, though, there to help her.
I think, yes, that's true. She had other people there to help her. She had her husband and her children. But also she had a purpose. Mm-hmm. She had to take care of her family. Mm-hmm. He didn't have a purpose anymore. His family died, and he was like, well, there's people who need my help. I can see their fire over there. Just not going to do it.
Yeah, because he doesn't want to help them and have them taken away from him again.
It's not until someone basically forces him to help that he realizes, I have something to do. I have a purpose, and I'm going to get off my ass and do it. And it's cool. He becomes more like the mom.
And in the scene where they're at this radio station trying to get the her hearing aid broadcast throughout the region, or at least as far as this radio station can project, transmit, yeah. There is one of the creatures in there, and he shoves her inside the room so that it comes after him instead of her, and then ensues a slight fight scene, I guess. And it was terrifying. I was so scared he was going to die.
Yeah, I thought she was going to lose daddy figure number 2
real
quick.
Yeah, it was so scary. But yeah, she is a very strong character because she really takes control, and this 15-year-old girl becomes the hero of the movie. And I think that's really cool. I remember telling you in the theater, it was a very Joel and Ellie sort of dynamic between Emmett and Reagan, which I also thought was kind of neat.
Yeah, bearded old dad and hopeful young child has become...
And not just dad, like father figure. Not necessarily dad.
Not the actual dad, except in God of War.
Boy.
But yeah, that has become a genre in and of itself.
Yeah.
And
which is kind of great and weirdly heartwarming.
It has been pretty good, honestly. Don't get me wrong, I feel like it could get real generic real quick. For now, I've enjoyed most of them.
Yeah, for now it's real good.
I wanted to talk about the ending a brief moment, because you mentioned that there were people who were upset that the movie seemed to have an ambiguous ending.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. Here's the last spoiler warning. We're going to talk directly about what the ending of this movie is. So, whatever. Whatever. They get to the radio station, and some people that they just met who were having a really nice time on this fucking island.
So nice.
They get a little fucked up by one of the aliens that follows them to the island. By real unfortunate chance, too. It's like it hitches a ride on one of the boats that just drifts over by accident. Because apparently the aliens can't swim.
Yeah.
Which that's the
Which
only...
is kind of nice. Like, you could find any island then.
Yeah, you can just take a boat.
As long as the alien didn't land there, you're good.
Yeah, so that's literally the only part of the movie where I was like, oh, they just can't swim? That's their big weakness? Okay.
They're weak to wood? His water? Is this One Piece? Naruto? What? Crossover.
Hey, Green Lantern originally was weak to wood.
Yeah.
Point is...
I think that's where my reference was from. Because in my head, I knew you said you had told me about someone being weak to wood. But for some reason, my brain connected Naruto instead because there is that man who does the wood. He plays with the wood.
Yamato Sensei, right? Because he can seal the Ninetales up?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, we're talking about some deep shit.
Anyway,
back.
Continue on.
Right. So they're with this nice community, and there's this real brief moment of, like, hopeful respite. They're relaxing. They're getting a change of clothing. This guy who hasn't talked to anyone in, like, how much time had passed? Like a year and a half, 2 years?
I think so, yes. Because it said, like, maybe it was, like, 400 and something days.
Yeah, and the first time he's talked to anybody was meeting these kids again. And now he's on this island, everyone's having a good time and, like, conversing, and they're not whispering, they're not quiet, they're just being alive. And seeing him, like, barely believe it real was a pretty wonderful moment, to be honest. The actor did a great job. And that gets disrupted very quickly by an unfortunate drifting alien.
Which... If this is a post-apocalyptic movie, why do you not have on your safe island compound, why do you not have people standing watch? Like, I understand you're safe and you're comfortable, but this is still an apocalypse. You cannot be that comfortable. Where, like, you're like, oh, nobody's gonna get on a boat and come this way. Like, even if the freaking... aliens can't swim. They're still bad people.
Yeah, which is another thing that happens in the movie that maybe I want to talk about later, but whatever. Man, they did not do a great job of fortifying the island.
No, they did not.
And unfortunately, at least them getting not all murdered. Like the alien rampages through, and admittedly, it does do some pretty gnarly damage.
Yeah, they get messed up.
There's a couple kids who get stuffed in a closet, and they're going to be traumatized for the rest of their lives. You know, stuff like that. But it's just like a handful of people who get hurt or killed because the main characters lead the alien away. Like, they take care of it for the most part. And then we get the final scenes of Ellie and Joel in this radio...
station.
Thank you. I was going to say radio factory. I don't know. Yeah, they're in this radio station trying to get to the transmitter and set it to send off this signal. And around every corner, the monster just keeps popping up and attacking, and it gets tenser and tenser with every second. And eventually it ends with her succeeding. She puts her microphone up to her hearing it up to microphone. The signal comes out, and the monster as well in the radio station as well as back home start hearing the noise from the radios. Freaking out, and it gives the girl and her brother that moment they need in order to fight back, to kill the aliens and survive. And it doesn't show them going off and, you know, reaching out to people and saying, all right, this is how we're going to save the world. But, like, I don't think that's necessary. They had this triumphant moment of defeating the monsters in front of them. And it was only 2 of them. There's who knows how many. But I think that's that brief moment of triumph is the final climax of this movie. That's the triumphant return of the heroes. They succeeded. Going any further than that, I think would just make it kind of lame. Besides, it leaves it open for the future. Like it's a story that ends with hope, with a chance to survive, not outright victory, because there's still other monsters. There's people out there that are still doing dumb shit. So it's not an all around everything's perfect now, but it was a win. It was a moment of hope. And I think that's more than enough. I think that's a perfect way to end this.
Yeah. Like, I understand some movies leave on a cliffhanger or unresolved feeling that can make you feel kind of icky. But if it's going to have a number 3, if there's going to be another movie, I think that's okay. And also, even if there's not a third movie, I feel like it was a good ending.
Yeah.
Because like you said, it left it hopeful, and I think that's good enough.
Yeah, if there's no movie number 3, I can imagine them going around to other safe havens with people, carrying around a little radio, and whenever seeing a monster, just turning it on and fighting back. I don't need to see that in a movie format. I can see it happening. I can imagine them going from place to place and collecting more decent human beings and restarting civilization. So yeah, I don't know. People might have had some issue with it. I don't see why.
Yeah. Well, there's always going to be people who don't like it.
Yeah. Well, there's always going to be people who are stupid. So. Alright, but that's all I have to say.
Yeah, that's all I've got.
Well, look at that, folks. We've done another episode. Our first episode in like a year and maybe more.
It's been a long time.
It also has been very fun to do this again.
Yes, it has.
So thank you guys for joining us.
Yeah, and join us next time.
Yeah, maybe next time we'll talk about... Actually, I don't think we planned that far out.
Like we said, this is our first episode in a long time. But don't worry, the second episode coming back will not be in a year.
No.
Hopefully just in a week or 2.
I'm aiming for a week release, but I'm aiming for this first little while, the first couple months, it's going to be bi-weekly, most likely, as I set up a new editing schedule and prepare a few episodes for like buffers.
Yes.
But I think we're going to be recording every week and putting out every couple weeks for a little while.
And it makes it easier now that we have an actual, not recording studio, but a room dedicated to Ollie and the podcast.
Yeah! I have my own office!
Yeah! I mean, I have mine too, which is much cooler.
Look, her office is pretty. It has vines, it has colors and lights, and a
art.
fucking futon, and I love it, and I'm jealous, but mine's got a cool...
You have Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
Mine has Yu-Gi-Oh cards! And a periodic table of contents. Mine's awesome too. It's just a little less flashy.
Nerd.
Anyways, thanks for listening, you guys.
Yes, I'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye, love you.
Aww.